out of the half court, the high pick by Weaver. And then look at Ishmael Smith, able to split defenders, get into the lane in the high lift on that jump shot. Puts it over the top of the trees.
Connor Tucker to the line. Missing the front end of the 1-and-1. Making him 1 of 3 from the foul line, really in his Wake Forest career.
I'm Wake Forest and Dino Gatto. I'm not sure I don't go back to that set and run it until they stop it. Look at the no-look pass by Matt Bolden Harris with the easy dunk.
4 assists now for Matt Bolden to go along with his 10 points.
He is putting on a clinic, reminiscent of John Stockton in terms of his sense, his feel for the game, the delivery, the dimes, one after another in terms of his passes.
But longer short for Matt Bolden.
True.
C.J. Harris for 3. A foul away from the basketball. McFarland went down hard. This was away from the basketball. Foul called against Elias Harris for Gonzaga.
Can't hurt McFarland. We're going to check the monitor to see if it's a flagrant. Oh, no room for that in college basketball. Harris just took his forearm and shivered it into McFarland's neck area. It's one thing to put the arm bar, another to go up into the neck or the head area. Won't be surprised if he doesn't get ejected.
The rulebook says a flagrant personal foul shall be a personal foul that involves severe contact with an opponent or involves contact that is extreme in nature while the ball is live. You would think that would be defined as severe contact with an opponent. This is one of the scenarios where the officials can go to the monitor to determine if a flagrant foul was committed.
Absolutely no room for that. No excuse. It's one thing to play with intensity, but there still has to be a level of poise, composure, intelligence, and most importantly, sportsmanship. And clearly, Harris there with a lack of sportsmanship, not what Mark Few or his staff would teach on a daily basis in practice. So that's just someone losing their cool. Take a look again in the basket area. Farland taking the shot right to the neck area. Very dangerous play.
And John Hughes, the head of the officiating crew, along with Bert Smith and Wally Ritecki, will get together and discuss this. Again, they went to the video monitor to determine if that was a flagrant foul, live ball foul. Section 29, Article 2. And the rule book. Here it is again.
Once again, if the forearm's put into the chest, in terms of teaching or technique on box out, we often, as coaches, tell our players to turn, locate an opponent, put the forearm on the chest, pivot, turn, create space, and then go to the glass. But that was a shot into the neck area, and once you start moving up to the neck and the head area, you're in danger of even getting tossed from a game.
So John Hughes bringing both head coaches over to explain the ruling and explain the consequences, and we will pass that along, obviously, as soon as the officials make it clear to us.
And I don't think that play is indicative of Harris as a person, as an athlete. It's unfortunate because the lack of sportsmanship here is going to be run over the next 24 hours in the sports news cycle, and the focus will be on that one play as opposed to Gonzaga as a team being in the top 25 and playing so well here in November and December And I know it'll be a teaching point for Mark Few and their staff with this Gonzaga team.
We have a foul on the play. Fouls on number 15, Matt Bolden. Harris shooting 3.
Well, he is going to be ejected, Carter.
And Bert Smith coming over to tell us it's an ejection against Elias Harris, a flagrant personal foul against Elias Harris.
Well, that was my thinking all along when I initially saw the intent to use the forearm shiver, kind of a Red Grange move right to the neck. Going back in the day, Red Grange now, that predates both of us.
And again, the definition of a flagrant personal foul live ball involves severe contact with an opponent or involves contact that is extreme in nature while the ball is live. Not much doubt after that replay that is severe contact in an extreme nature with a forearm shiver to the neck.
And a major turning point here in many respects. To lose the services of Harris, one of your most valuable players. Wake Forest taking advantage of the free throws as well as possession. And Mark Few and staff not happy at this point with the call, but I believe when they review the replays, they'll understand that there's no room for that. And Harris is going to have to leave the house.
John Hughes came over. Harris was sitting on the bench. John Hughes says, ejected from the game, that means he has to leave the playing court, go back to the Gonzaga locker room. So Gonzaga freshman Elias Harris has been ejected from the game for a flagrant personal foul, live ball foul with the forearm to the neck of Wake Forest Chase McFarland.
The 3-ball from the deep corner. Stewart. What a change of events, a momentum swing.
Wake Forest down by 13 in the middle of this first half after Gonzaga went on a 15-0 run. Now it's Wake on an 11-2 run to get within 2 against Gonzaga. Bolden slips. Travel called on Bolden. Wake will get it back with 1:35 to go in the half.
This is a major run by the Demon Deacons, and caught napping. Gonzaga in transition, the flush by Woods, a great look up the floor. And this is as dramatic a turn of events as I can remember in a game in a number of years. This is a stunned and salty, angry crowd here in Spokane. But I think they have to look at themselves. Gonzaga just let this one get away from them, Carter, and it all started with that Harris forearm shiver into McFarland's neck.
The dunk by Tony Woods evens it at 31 all. 1:29 to go in the half. So a 15-0 run by Gonzaga. They led by 13. Harris ejected because of the flagrant personal foul. So Harris is gone from the game. Steve, you just said this is as dramatic a turnaround as you've seen in a long time in the first half of a basketball game.
Well, the Deacons are on an 8-0 run now. They've taken full advantage between converting on the free throw line, knocking down a 3-ball in the deep corner, catching Gonzaga napping in transition. And then, of course, Gonzaga losing the services of Harris, which is the real blow come the second half.
And it is an angry McCarthy Athletic Center crowd that Wake is fighting its way back into this game against. Gonzaga needs a bucket. You go to Matt Bolden off the glass. Bulldogs back on top.
Well, the veteran Bolden uses the window, the old bank shot, a lost art, not on Matt Bolden.
Gonzaga led by 13 points. It was 22-9, a 15-0 run by the Bulldogs to take command of the game. Wake has fought back, almost literally, to make this a 2-point game.
And let's give Wake credit here. Opportunistic, taking advantage, cashing in of Gonzaga's breakdown. So it's partially a collapse, but also a comeback.
Foul called against Wake Forest, L.D. Williams. Two-point Gonzaga lead on Wake, under 30 seconds to go. A
13-2 run.
A shot won't go.
One shot now for Wake Forest. Already a 13-2 run, chance to extend, sustain, or continue this dramatic run.
Stewart for three. And Wake Forest takes the lead at the half.
And a 16-2 run, Carter, by the Demon Deacons. A furious rally. We've got ourselves a ball game. Buckle up for the second half.
Wake Forest, trailing by 13, comes back to take the lead at the half, 34-33. Now let's join Wendy Nix in the game for the halftime report. Back in Spokane, Washington, at the McCarthy Athletic Center, Wake Forest has an improbable one-point lead on Gonzaga. I'm Carter Blackburn with Steve Lavin, and what a wild first